So we're just going to start with introducing the filmmakers from the fiction strand. So can we have Marta from Aphonia? Would you be able to just introduce yourself and say a quick few words about the film?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Marta Nowak. I'm from Poland, and I'm currently studying film directing in Katowice, Krzysztof Kieślowski Film School in Katowice, Poland. And I'm here with Aphonia, my first short fiction film. And I'm waiting for your questions.
Okay. Apologies for that. Right, can we now have Alex from Two Mother?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the colleague of Marta as well from the Krzysztof Kieślowski Film School, the same school she mentioned. I'm here with my short movie from the third year assignment. By the way, I'm studying cinematography. My school. I'm here with the third year assignment, cinematography assignment. I directed it as well. To Mother, the short movie, and I hope the movie explains itself as the people watch. So I'm waiting for the questions as well.
Thank you very much, Alex. And now can we have Carolina from Hide and Seek?
Hi, thanks for having me. Now, surprise, I'm also from Krzysztof Kieślowski Film School, and it's also as Marta's first year film, first short film. And yeah, I won't tell much about the film. I hoped you liked it, and I'm waiting for the questions.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And can we now have Aldis representing the film Waiting for a Phone Call?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Aldis Elwan. I'm from Indonesia. I currently study at Indonesia Institute of the Arts, Surakarta, and I'm the director of Waiting for a Phone Call, and I'm so excited for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aldis. Now, can we have Tanya and Jennifer from the film Women's Business?
Yes, so hello, my name is Tanya and I'm the producer of Women's Business, and Jennifer is with me today. She's the director, and we're both from the University of Applied Sciences of St. Pölten. It's in Austria.
Yes, hi, I'm Jenny. I'm the director of Women's Business, and I'm also, like Tanya said, from the University of Applied Sciences in St. Pölten. And just a brief introduction to Women's Business, like a little bit of the story. Women's Business faces the conflicts women go through everyday life. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I believe that concludes our introduction of the
and then for our final fiction film, can we head over to Marco and Francesco? Can you introduce your film, Sex and Popcorn?
Yes, I'm Marco Filpi, the director of Sex and Popcorn, and Sex and Popcorn is a school project. Is my very first fiction short movie, and Francesco is here. Is my fellow director. Is here to help me with my English, and it's also the script supervisor of Sex and Popcorn, and a dear friend. And actually, I'm attending a film school here in Rome, but I'm from Palermo, Sicily. That's it. And Sex and Popcorn is a short movie that talks about sex and popcorn. Thank you.
Now we're going to head over to our experimental filmmakers. So can we hear from Mason Perry, the director of Fernando?
Hi, I'm Mason Perry. I'm currently attending Middlesex University. I come from the UK, and I'm studying directing at the moment. Fernando's a film I made last summer. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing questions.
And then last but certainly not least, can we head over to Beth Walker with Beneath?
Yeah, hi. So I'm from the UK, but I'm currently based in Portugal. But Beneath was my graduation project from the Royal College of Art in London. I did an MA in animation there. It's kind of an abstract experimental film. It was inspired by fungi and kind of themes of growth and symbiosis. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Great, thank you everybody. So we're going to get straight into it, and we're going to get straight into our questions.
Just a quick reminder for those watching us on YouTube, please feel free to ask the questions in chat as well. And after we go through the program questions, then by all means we are monitoring the chat as well, so we can then ask your questions for you as well. So if you have any questions for our filmmakers, by all means just pop them in the chat in YouTube.
Absolutely. I'm going to hand back over to Magic.
Right. So first we're going to come back to Marta from Afonia. And we just wanted to start with asking you a general question about what was your motivation with telling the story? And maybe if you'll be able to start by telling a little bit what the film was about, what was the story, and what was your motivation to tell it?
Sure. Okay. So I will try my best. Afonia is a short story about a boy, a young guy who comes to a new place. It's actually a boarding school for kids that are deaf and hard of hearing, and he's new there, and he doesn't know how to use the sign language, which is the thing that makes it very difficult for him to communicate with everyone else. And my why I did it was I really wanted to make a movie that was telling a story about alienation. And I was thinking long about the situation that I could use to tell it in a very universal way. And because our first school assignment is to make a movie that doesn't have any specific dialogues, that was this kind of like mixture of me wanting to tell a story of alienation and then having to place it in some kind of environment that is natural and somehow used to no dialogues. And I actually knew when I was going to primary school, I had a friend who was actually losing her hearing. And I witnessed her actually having more and more issues with communicating with everyone else. It was very hard for her, it was hard for everyone else, but especially for her, knowing that it's really difficult when you don't understand what everyone else is saying. And I wanted to reverse the situation, to tell it from the other side, to show how it would be if someone who maybe had a hearing or still have it, or doesn't know the sign language, had to somehow find himself in the new situation. How would it work? So that was my main goal behind the story.
That's very interesting, because we wanted to ask you one of our questions about the sound design choice for your film. And it's interesting that you mentioned that it's kind of was a requirement for your assignment. But still, I personally found it really interesting that it is a quiet film, but it's not a silent film, at least in my opinion. I wanted to ask if you'd be able to tell us more about your process that went into planning for the sound design of Afonia.
Sure. I mean, I didn't want it to be a silent movie, and that was my idea, that you still hear a lot even if there's no dialogue. And I mean, I didn't really want it to tell it as if it was absolutely silent. I wanted to show what happens when people are somewhat not hearing themselves that much, and I wanted to somehow focus actually on those things that are happening. There are sound design things that are happening there that I thought would add something to the history. If someone who, I mean, this project is mainly thought to be shown to the people who actually have hearing. I mean, there are lots of people watching it who doesn't have hearing, or they're hard of hearing, which is difficult for them to hear it. But I wanted to people who have hearing to actually experience how it would be for them to be in that kind of situation. So this is why we hear stuff there, and this is why there are like sounds that are happening. I hope I answered it, the question.
No, that's perfect, because as I said, like that's what I love, that as you said, it wasn't a silent film by no means, but it's like you would think it would be, but it's not. You, as you said, you hear a lot in that film. But that's interesting, because you did say that you kind of aimed that film at the people without hearing impairments. And I want to ask you, because we understand that in the film you've worked with the Lower Silesian Institute for. I want to ask you, did it influence your casting process? Like, did you actually cast people with hearing impairments in the film? Did the actors we saw, are there people with hearing loss, or?
That was really important for me, that I couldn't imagine myself casting kids who play hard of hearing kids, but actually hear everything perfectly. So everyone in the movie, like the main character, the boy, he hears things, because I mean, this is some kind of maybe spoiler alert or not, but he's the one who has the hearing. But everyone else in the movie, all the kids are coming from the Lower Silesia Hard of Hearings Institute, and they are actually the pupils there. And I casted them there because I really wanted the kids who are actually hard of hearings kids to play the characters. I thought this is the only way to do it, because it will be much more true if they were playing themselves. So yeah.
So just that's a fine question for your promise, but to understand, so do you actually know the sign language, Polish sign language yourself? Then did you direct them with the sign language, or how did the directing process?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, it was actually a very stressful situation for me. I knew that it will be very difficult. It was my first assignment, so everything was pretty new to me. And then we went there like a few months prior the actually shooting time, and we were communicating then with the kids, with the teachers, and somehow some of the kids do hear enough to actually translate the other kids. So we were trying our best with the teachers, sometimes the other kids who were able to help us, but I knew only very little of sign language. And actually I learned with the time passing more and more, which was actually very interesting, but I didn't know the sign language enough to communicate like this. I did it on the last shooting day with the girl. I was able to talk with her in sign language. That was actually pretty nice.
Well, Marta, thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, we do have to
thanks so much.
Next filmmakers. But again, if anybody from the audience has more questions specifically about aphonia, please feel free to pop it in the chat, and we'll be coming back to audience questions later. Can we have now Mason Perry from Fernando?
Hi, Mason. So Fernando has a really unique visual style. And that's why we obviously thought it would be a really good addition to our experimental category this year. So what were some of your aesthetic inspirations when creating Fernando?
So when I was watching, so it was made during the summer, and during that summer I rediscovered a film that was made where I grew up around, and it was shot in a 4:3 aspect ratio. And I kind of like that, but at the same time, I like the idea that it keeps it all in a very tight spot, so there's only one place to look. So in Fernando, the framing had to be kind of perfect. So we had to stand in the middle of the whole frame in the house. The house had to be perfectly in frame. So yeah, that film was called Fish Tank, that I got inspiration from. Came out a few years ago. No, like 11 years ago, I think now. But yeah, that's one of my main inspirations for it.
Nice. So during your filmmaking process, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, what was it like?
Yeah, so it was quite, well, I want to say eerie, but during the day it wasn't too bad. But the nighttime shoot we done, which was the second day we shot, we were just in a field on our own. in the dark. We barely had any lights, and we were just like, you know, this could go a bit wrong. And especially if we're like dealing with a character wearing blood on his shirt as well. It's like, someone walks past, it's not going to look good. But yeah, it was quite fun, to be fair. I've worked with the actors before in a film I made before. They're literally just my friends, so they're not like qualified actors at all. But I think it paid off.
Yeah, so really good point. So sort of carrying on from that, were there any sort of challenges or obstacles that you found during the filmmaking process?
Well, I mean, the house itself is abandoned. And what we really wanted to do was like go inside, because we really wanted to make it longer and make it like a big character study. But yeah, we really wanted to go inside the house and like film in there. But again, we didn't want to break in, you know, against the law, so that wouldn't have worked out. But yeah, I mean, in the future, I want to expand upon the idea of the character and the story itself. Hopefully make like a feature film out of it. But yeah, I mean, filmmaking wise, I don't think we came across any problems. No.
So you mentioned there, it's quite interesting that you'd like to make this a feature film.
Yeah.
Can you give us any spoilers about like where you'd want to see it go? What's next for Fernando, essentially?
I don't want to spoil too much, but it gets a lot scarier. I'll say that. But the idea of it I want is that you kind of feel empathy for a villain in a way, because the main thing is about him and he's not really the good guy. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting.
Well, fingers crossed we get to see that in the future.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mason.
No worries.
Thank you very much again to our audience. If you have any questions specifically for Fernando, please do feel free to ask in the chat. Now, can we have Alex Szamałek with the film To Mother?
Yes.
Alex, sorry, I just had to put you in the center of the screen there. Okay. But yeah, so first of all, it's maybe a general question, but I was wondering if you'd be able to tell us a little bit about what is the story of To Mother for you, because when we were discussing it during our programming, it was sort of funny. We all had sort of different ideas, and for me, being from Poland as well, it spoke to me very strong with some very personal themes almost. But so first, I wanted to ask, you know, what's the story of To Mother for you, really?
What's the story really for me? Well, I didn't expect the question. It was so long time ago I made this movie, like over 2 years already. So I have to, you know, remind myself. I mean, the personal thing is this story was inspired on the events from my family. I mean, the relationship between the son and the mother was inspired of the you know events from my family, as I said. But only relationship and nothing else was took from my experience. So I mean, like everything else in this movie was just you know made by me and in this process of writing a scenario. As you know, now I'm a cinematographer, so I'm not a director, and it was actually first time for me writing a scenario for short with dialogues, and I mean the proper short with the story and everything. So I was thinking how to convince the spectators to watch the cinematographer movie, and my idea was to base it on the mystery and the mystery in this mysterious village that is happening in, and creating immersive style of the filming, and this, like, you know, we are trying to discover this mystery with every minute of the movie, but at the end, as you know now after watching this movie, we don't know everything. So that was my idea, to make people think and to make people discuss after watching this movie.
It's interesting to mention that you're mostly deal with cinematography at this point, because something we found really interesting was the use. I understand. Did you actually use film stock especially in the opening scene? Was the actual film stock? Was it an effect?
It was filmed by us. It was filmed by us on the 60mm and 8mm cameras. Yes. As archives, we used it as archives. So you know, that was our choice to to show the archives and work with the film as we love it.
No, I mean, yeah, we're wanting to sort of like what you kind of answered already, but we were wondering, was it the sort of the love for the film stock first, or was it the love for the story that you've decided to sort of merge together with using the film stock? But you kind of gave us the answer already, and I did already mention upon this as well, but I was kind of wondering, is there, because you mentioned your film has a very characteristic look to it and very characteristic feel, and it was something I had a bit of a hard time explaining to my colleagues at university, because they didn't have the same sort of Polish upbringing I have, visiting my grandparents in the countryside, stuff like this, and it has a very unique feel to it. I was wondering, was part of your idea to play on this nostalgia look a little bit, or was it just a sort of byproduct of the story?
As a cinematographer, you always try to invent the language. I mean, the choose the proper language for the story. So that was the proper choice for me to choose this type of filming. I mean, the filming of this, foggy village and all the movement of the camera, the type of slow cinema. It was all well thought about me, and I was, I had this chance to direct this movie, write the story, and be a cinematographer. So the three persons that meet in the normal industry, or two persons, the director and cinematographer meet and invent these ideas. I was the only one. So when I was writing, I already quite knew how I wanted to shoot it, but it also developed after creating mood boards and things. But what was the question? I don't know. I think I lost myself.
No, that was the perfect answer. Basically, I didn't phrase it well, but I want to ask you about sort of the creative process and what was the your motivation there. But you did explain it as a cinematographer, as a person who thinks more visually, kind of were walking parallel with the writing and thinking how it will look already.
Yes, yeah. Put it in words.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that, Alex. Again, if anybody has any questions about to Mother, please feel free to pop them in the chat. And we are now. I apologize for those breaks between you guys. I just have to manually put you in the center of the screen. So can we have now Carolina from Hide and Seek?
Yeah, sure. Hi again.
Hello. So again, in short words, you'll just be able to again quickly say in 1-2 sentences about your film.
Okay, so as you know, I'm in the same school as Marta and Alex, but you don't know yet that I'm on the same year with Marta. So we had the same task on our first year, and it was to make a film without any dialogues. And so my first idea in my head was actually hide and seek, the game, because you don't need any words there, talking there. So I thought, okay, but I wanted to make it about something more, about something deeper, meaningful for me. And then it was a question, okay, maybe this girl is looking for something more than just children. And then this idea of looking for a mother came. And then this idea of the last goodbye. Which for me makes it like a happy end. I didn't want it to make it like a sad movie about a little girl who lost her mother. Of course, it is a little bit of it, but I didn't want it to make it so sad as it sounds.
I must say, I did actually want to ask if you had the same assignment as Marta, because it was noticeable. It's like
Yes.
There's such a focus on visual storytelling in that film, and they told me not to be too nerdy about camera here, so I'll try not to. But the precision that went into camera movement there, and this one towards the end is sort of the reveal scene. Can I ask just how did you plan? Like, what did you shoot with? What like? if I can ask what equipment it used as well, because it was so beautifully choreographed.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, of course, with this kind of film, as a director, I knew it's more visual since I don't have words, dialogues to build this up. So I was working with my DOP, Aneta Bochnacka, who is a real genius when it comes to her things. And so first of all, the color was really important for us because maybe you saw that when we had a mother, it was we had warm colors. When she's not, we have cold colors, and it works for our story. But you said equipment. You mean this moment with the piano, with this like a final to the accident, or?
Yes, I didn't want to spoil too much, but since you already said it, yeah, there's the moment the camera does like this arching movement over her, and well, really, I just want to talk about the equipment all the time, but again, they told me not to, so they allowed me the single question about how you did that sort of that arcing scene, you know, where the camera goes over Amelia. So your actress was Emilia.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Amelka, yes.
Amelka, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Maybe I won't tell you as good as Aneta would, but I remember that we have our camera. It was Alexa. I don't remember the exact name, but we had it on running. And we also had, I have to ask my Polish folks, maybe Alex, do you know how we call it in English? I don't even remember the name of it in Polish. You know, it looks like a, you know, to do like a very, very high shot.
Crane? You mean crane?
Yes,
crane
in Polish,
Yes.
crane in
Very
English.
good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have no idea how crane is in Polish, I must say. I don't know. So,
Yeah, so
but
that's
yeah.
it. And we had crane. It wasn't like a really professional crane because we are only students, and actually it was a big task to do it because we had this idea and we just wanted to do it no matter what. And so yeah, it kind of worked out for us, but it was a shot when oh god, we were doing it for a really long time because it was an end of the day, and Amelka is only a little girl who gets tired really easily, and she was really tired. And with this shot, she had to be in a specific place in specific time, and we only had like one good shot, which you maybe saw in the film. Yeah.
Actually, that's excellent that you mentioned Amelka, because really one of my questions is, I want to ask you first of all, well, how did you cast Amelka? Because something I find to be the most challenging thing as a filmmaker is to find child actors, and Amelka plays such a massive role in this film, and her acting is really on point. And first, I want to ask you how did you manage to cast her, and then if you'd be able to tell us a little bit about how did you find working with with such a young actress?
Mm-hmm. So I knew that with this film I had to have a great little actor, and of course children are only children, they are not professional usually, and it can be hard for me to work with this girl, and I know that she has to be really, really good. And I was looking for agencies in Poland to find a girl first based on look. And I didn't have specific look for this girl. I just really wanted her to have something in her eyes. And Amelka has beautiful eyes, deep eyes. And then she was only 7. But in the scenes when she had to be very serious and sad, I was really worried about something fake in it. And when I met with her, I knew that this is my girl. And so the important thing is that Amelka is great. It's not like I'm just such a great director and I made her that way. It's not like that. It's just she's really amazing. And then working with a child, for me it was like working with the adult one, because I was just talking with her, and it was basically it. Of course, sometimes she didn't have so much energy for this and that because she wanted to add something else. But talking, it was just it, and yeah, she also enjoyed it. Yeah, the important thing is that she also wanted to do that film, so that was great. But she also has amazing mother who was really helping us.
Okay, thank you very much for the insight. And again,
Thank you.
absolute congratulations. Of course, Samuel isn't here, but yeah, it's very impressive performance. And again, definitely, we're all everybody from the program was very impressed by this. But now again, if anybody has questions about hide and seek, please do feel free to ask them in the chat. And at the moment, can we have Tanya and Jennifer from Women's Business?
Yes.
Hi, Tanya and Jennifer. So I'm going to take over from Magic for a second. So Women's Business, you know, the film focuses on some like really hard-hitting stories and real life experiences faced by, you know, lots of different women today. What was the motivation for creating a story about this?
Should I answer, Tanya? Yes. The motivation behind this was that we want to give women a place where they can express themselves and show themselves. And we also, I don't want to spoil it that much, but we gave queer women also a place where they can be seen, and that was really a big motivation behind it, so that women can actually be the main thing in this film.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like representation now, you know, it is still lacking in terms of like women, you know, in front of the camera and behind the camera. So, you know, all these women, these characters that you present us, you know, they've all faced these different experiences, and you know, they've all come from different backgrounds. So, do you feel that these narratives are underrepresented in cinema today?
Tanya, would you like to answer, or should I? We can also both answer.
I think you're the one for all the story stuff.
Okay. I would say they a little bit underrepresented, but it's getting better. It got better over the years, so that's for sure. But I would say that if it comes to filmmaking itself, women are not that much represented, because if we go behind the camera and you see the team, there are mainly men who've been working with cameras and all the technical stuff. So with Women's Business, we try to put women in this position, and with this with the story also, we try to show different problems that women face these days, so we can actually put them on screen and maybe show the audience what problems are real, and that problems are real. Yeah. Yes.
You got anything to add to that, Tanya?
Yeah, maybe just talking about the team, because it's an all-female crew, and just to find it's over 30 people or over 30 women, and it was actually quite hard to find that many women, especially, as Jennifer said, in the camera and lighting department, because it still seems to be such a male-dominated field that most women just didn't want to do it because they were afraid they weren't as good as their male colleagues. So there was a lot of talking with them and telling them, no, you can do it. And I mean, we're quite proud of them now. And I think they saw what they have achieved, and maybe there's more for them in the future now. I hope.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, yeah. I think you've done an incredible job of obviously, you know, representing a lot of different groups in here, and it is really refreshing to see that all female, you know, actors and crew. And I think, yeah, you've done an incredible job. do you want to tell us a little bit about Women's Business visual style? Because obviously we have it all set in these toilet cubicles in this like sort of safe space in some ways. Can you tell us a little bit about the process that went behind your visual storytelling?
Yes, of course. As you can see, that the whole film plays in a toilet setting. It's women's toilet setting, and the colors we chose were actually somewhat special because we chose blue and pink, and those colors, as we know, are representing men and male and female, and we put them together. So we wanted to work with them. So when we chose these colors and put them on the characters, we just wanted to show both sides. And actually it's also a club thing that we have this colorful lights and stuff, but also this gender identity stuff that's also flowing in this visual style and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Thank you. Anything else from you, Tanya, before we move on?
No, I just think that a lot of the visual style also just comes from the location, because it was quite small. If you just imagine, we had to fit 30 people in there, and also the cast, so quite crowded.
Yes.
We had to be a little bit creative with the camera just to get all the angles you're seeing right now. But yeah, it was fun.
Yes, unfortunately we couldn't move some walls, so it was really, really crowded. Sometimes we had to fit like 4 people in one stall, so that was a challenge, I guess.
Well, I think you managed to do a really good job anyway. There's some really, interesting shots and some really cool narratives in Women's Business. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Should we move on to Beth?
Sorry, just because I have a little list of order here. Can we have Aldis from Waiting for a Phone Call? And I was wanted to add, as a filmmaker, I completely understand walls have a terrible habit of always being in a way when you're trying to film. I know I hate it. I mean, those builders, really, they should consider it when making films. Aldis, we are going to put you on a spot now. And again, Aldis is here with us from Waiting for Your Phone Call.
So in this film, Aldis, so it similar to Women's Business, it explores some themes of representation. So I just sort of wanted to touch on that. Where did the inspiration for this particular narrative come from?
So thank you. First of all, I want to say sorry if my English is not that really good. So so this story is actually about a father who's wandered far away in the city and kind of never received any news from his son. So it's basically a personal movie, a personal short film for me, because I took that inspiration and I imagined myself right before I studied outside my city. If my father was still alive today, will he miss me or not? So that's the actual inspiration for this movie.
Yeah, incredible. So you've touched on it a little bit there, but we spoke about the inspiration for the film. Can you tell us a little bit more about your inspiration for the characters? I know you said like it's similar to like your relationship in real life, but can you tell us a little bit more about the characters?
So for the characters, especially the father, which is, I took the character inspiration from my dad. I mean, we had a hard, not really good family, and he was left alone in after a hard time, breakup or something like that with my mom. And so the inspiration, I took the inspiration from my dad. Hope they answer questions.
You did, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about, so this is the only film from Indonesia I think we have in the festival this year. Can you tell us a little bit about the Indonesian film market, and are there many films like yours that sort of deal with these themes of representation?
There's a lot of short films like Indonesia. I mean, it's kind of important too in Indonesia about the representations. And then I think film in Indonesia now, we are now focused on humanity and the equality, you know, like gender equality, something like that. So I try to put that in also in my movie, in this film.
Absolutely, yeah, I think you definitely did do that. So I'm going to come to your visual style as well, you know, because there's a lot of different types of, you know, incredible visual storytelling in the films we've got here today. So can you tell us a little bit about your creative process and that kind of thing?
So actually, I told my cinematographer that let's make a simple film and a simple shots. I mean, but in the same time, I want to create meaningful shots. I mean, like there's a lot, as you can see in my films, that a lot of long shots that me and my cinematographer take. I want to show that a man live alone in such a big house, you know, to show that loneliness and frustration because he couldn't get any news from his son. So yeah, it was a fun production shooting days, and yeah, it was a simple film actually.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that. Shall we head over to Beth Walker?
Hi.
Sorry, just give me a minute.
Yeah,
I need to
she's here.
put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
There she is.
Right. I just quickly want to say that because I think you do deserve credit for that, because I think your film Beneath was one of the main reasons why we decided to have the experimental strand, because it's I believe it's submitted as animation, which is, well, no, I don't want to say anymore. Actually, could you just tell us something about your film? I think the question everybody wants to know is, well, how did you do this film? And for people here who haven't seen, I just want to say it's a film made. Oh, I just realized I'm invisible. It's a film made with mushrooms. So would you please be able to, well, explain how did you achieve that? Because it's something. It's something.
Thank you so much. So the film was inspired by fungi, which I pretty much knew nothing about until the summer before my final year of my MA. I saw a documentary, and then I read a book called Entangled Life, which took me into this whole world of fungi and the symbiotic relationships that they form with plants. I learned about these networks that exist in forests where plants, trees and fungi exchange nutrients and resources. And this just kind of just turned my understanding of nature on its head, especially in the idea that there's so much cooperation happening in a forest. You know, it's not necessarily as competitive as we might think. And then, so for the actual filmmaking process, I didn't work with fungi. The imagery is created with inks. So I'd worked with inks before, and I kind of discovered that combining them with fabrics and papers could create this movement that was like tendrils and like shapes growing and kind of reaching towards each other. And that was the imagery that I wanted to just communicate, this feeling of growth and kind of meetings of different organisms and that kind of thing. So I recorded those. I recorded the inks with a macro lens, and then there was a lot of like time remapping of the footage and keying out the fabrics so that you would just see the shapes, and then putting it all together.
I must ask, I'm sorry, I've never worked with inks. Is it so you're literally applying ink to a fabric and like it spreads on its own? That's what
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes with some water, sometimes with another chemical, like you can use like isopropyl alcohol, which makes inks react in a really interesting, crazy way. And I was using fabrics and sometimes like natural papers and natural fibers, and just kind of playing around a lot with the different ways that the inks would move on different surfaces.
So the speed at which we see, I understand it's some sort of a time lapse. So they don't like travel that fast. Is that the correct word for an ink? But you know, they don't expand, and the speed is. I presume that was achieved in post production to some degree.
Yeah, the speed is like heavily manipulated. It was actually, so I actually shot most of the footage in slow motion because when you apply the ink at first, it moves very fast. So those parts I actually wanted slower. And then it would spend about 10, 20 minutes slowly spreading through the fabric. So for that part, I was like hugely speeding it up. So yeah, I was using like speed ramping to do it.
Yeah, so something about Beneath Beth that was really like unique. I mean, you know, it was all unique, but something that was also unique was just the sound. So can you talk to us a little bit about the process? Like, what is it that we're hearing? What was your process? What was your inspiration for the sound design?
Yeah, I had a really great sound designer who worked on it called Nick Farris. It was kind of similar to the process for the visuals in that we worked with like natural fibers, kind of textural things, just kind of manipulating materials and recording it, and then a lot of digital manipulation of those sounds. I wanted it to be quite an immersive soundscape to kind of bring people into that like underground space, and I kind of wanted the shapes to come across like creatures, so I wanted quite sort of creaturely sounds. So yeah, that was the process.
I think it definitely achieved that. Yeah, you know, I thought it was like it went so well together, the sound and the visuals. Like it was like very, very unique. Magic. Any more questions?
Apologies, no, sorry. I'm apologies for being off screen at the moment. I'm just trying to improve our connection here. But yeah, no, I don't have any more questions. And again, all I can say is the sound design was it's so haptic. It's just it's yeah, as I said, like it's completely something else. I think like it's yeah, as you said, it's it's pretty much why we have the experimental strand. We just figure out, you know, we have to do something to explore more cinema like this, because it's you know, I would have never thought of making anything like it. So I found it to be very, very refreshing. And still, for the purposes of telling about this film to anybody, I'm still going to stick with the story that's made of mushrooms, just because it sounds funny. So so that's all for that concludes our questions for Beneath. Again, if you have any questions about Beneath, film made with mushrooms, please do ask in chat. And now can we have Marco from Sex and Popcorn? I believe it's Marco and Francesco from Sex and Popcorn.
Yes, ciao.
Hi, Marco. So do you want to start again by telling us a little bit more about your film?
Yes, as I said before, this short movie was my very first short movie, and was a school project. And we have a theme that was movie theater, but because the majority of my colleague were setting their short movie inside the movie theater, I just want to do something different. So I choose to set the short inside a bedroom with two people who talks about the movie theater experience, and that's it.
Yeah. So like you say, you know, it is about these two people and the dialogue between those two people. Can you tell us?
Short.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach to casting those two people, the two actors?
Yes. Yes.
What was it like to work with them?
Yes. Yes. The two actors are Patrick Andrade Mendes, who plays Marco, and Carlotta Tagliareni, who plays Claudia. I knew Patrick because he was a very dear friend of mine, and when we did the show, when we did Sex and Popcorn, he was in a theater company, and he traveled basically all Europe. So I know that he was good at acting. For Carlotta was a little more difficult because contrary to Marco, the character of Claudia has very little dialogue. So I was searching for an actress who was very, very magnetic. And I remember during the casting process, when Carlotta arrives, she was very shy, and Sexy Popcorn was her first acting job, let's say, and she was a singer. And I remember when she arrived to the casting process, she was, as I said, very shy, and she wasn't prepared. I remember that the other actress monologue or something like that, and she wasn't prepared. But when she starts to sing, I don't know, I feel something very strong, and I think that that was what I searched, what I need for the character of Claudia, something that with little dialogue could be very magnetic.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about sort of the direction that you gave your actors? Like, I know you mentioned she was a little bit shy at first.
Very simple, stick to the script.
Stick to the script. Incredible, yeah. So next question then, you know, can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for Sex and Popcorn? What brought it about? What made you create this piece?
A major inspiration for Sex and Popcorn was the Nouvelle Vague, the French Nouvelle Vague, especially the, I don't know the English title, the first Jean-Luc Godard film about the souffle. I don't know the English title. Francesco, do you know the English title of Fino all'ultimo respiro?
Until the Last Breath. Literally,
No.
The translation.
Breathless. Okay. The first Jean-Luc Godard film that is my favorite Jean-Luc Godard film, and in general one of my favorite film. And in that movie there is a scene where Jean-Paul Belmondo and Gene Seberg are in bed, and it's a scene that I think it's 12, 15 or maybe more minutes long, and in the scene the narration of the movie stops, and we see these two characters in bed talking about love, about life, and I want to do something similar to that. And yes, I think that the French cinema was my major inspiration, and also the Richard Linklater trilogy before Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight. I love when in a movie there is two people or maybe more who talks. I love talking movie. So that was the main inspiration. Another inspiration was my craziness and my weirdness, because the character of Marco and the character of Claudia are not all of them, but are basically inspired by me and my now ex-girlfriend, and my very weirdness and my very craziness about the movie theater experience. But I think that if you watch the short, you can you can see by yourself.
Absolutely, that's great. Thank you, Marco. And yeah, you know, it is great just to see these two people like it's just based around these two people just having this like conversation. I always think that's incredible. So we did really enjoy the dialogue. Do you have any more questions?
If I may, I have a question, because I read the synopsis of Sex and Popcorn in your website, and I see that it's very different but my synopsis. So I was curious, because I'm very interested in when people watch a movie or a short movie or where it is, and their experience is different by maybe my intention. So I was curious about that, because in the synopsis, the couple, Mark and Claudia, are describing very different in the way I intended, let's say.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your intentions then, Marco?
My intention is, I don't know, a couple who a simple couple, let's say, they love each other, of course, and they have a strange relationship with let's say, with sex and with each other. But in the synopsis, they are described, I don't remember the exact word, but like a tired couple or something like that, because I was curious about that.
Cool. Thank you so much for that, Marco. It's really good to hear your perspective on things and to hear about your creative process. I'm going to hand us back over to Madja.
Hello. So at the moment, we were kind of done interrogating you individually, but you're not free yet, because at this point we wanted to just ask you some general, I'm sorry, I'm invisible. At the moment, we just want to ask you some general questions, and at this point, again, just feel free to answer, and I will try to put you on the spot as fast as possible.
We're probably going to put some people on the spot during this, so everyone get ready.
Yeah, you will be on spot a lot, but I want to ask this. Well, this is at the end of the day the sort of academically organized film festival. You are all in some way connected to one way or the other to a filmic academic institution, and we're wondering how do you feel this might have influenced your films? I mean, we already have here the two answers of it was a requirement to do a film without the dialogue, and we saw how it went. But I was wondering if more of you had the experience. Do you think your film, that it benefited you having made those films as a part of an educational institution? If anybody likes to.
Nobody goes. We'll have to choose.
I will be. Well,
sure, I can say. So for
Tanya,
us,
here you go. I'm just putting you on the spot now.
It wasn't really a part of our education. We did it in our free time, and we were later able to use it for our education because the professor said, yeah, no, it's really, really nice. So that's why we were able to develop it further. But still, we developed it in the university context. So we got financial aid and support by the university, and also we had all of our professors, and we just could go and walk up to them and ask, do you have any tips, or what should we do? This and that is our problem. So I guess, yeah, we really benefited from that context.
That's actually really nice that you sort of had that support in place, because, as like new filmmakers, as budding filmmakers, that support system is definitely important. Anyone else?
Well, I can add something, because I wouldn't be able to shoot and actually get an agreement from the boarding school I was shooting at. I wouldn't be able to shoot there if it wasn't for my film school making sure, like, writing this letter of approval that it's me, I'm actually from this institution, and I'm not some kind of, like, let's say, weirdo who has some really weird idea to shoot the kids who are actually having some difficulties in life. So this definitely helped me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to actually shoot. So this one administrational help that happened. Of course, financial aid was something that also was very important for me. But also this rule that we had with Carolina there's this one thing that you have actually to make sure of while writing the script, that you have to be like careful about something, makes it sometimes, for some weird reason, open-minded, like it opens your horizons. You think of the one rule that you have to obey, and then it's somehow helping you like going somewhere. And for some reason, it was very helpful to make a movie that is about something specific, thinking that the dialogues are not allowed in this one. So this is definitely something that wouldn't happen outside the school.
Absolutely.
I mean, interesting to say that because I personally find it the most enjoyable assignments for me, like a film degree as well, were the ones with the most strict restrictions. It was like, I don't know, it has to be exactly 10 shots of 10 seconds, for example, and then I had to actually come up with how to pronounce it. For me, it helped me sort of a lot. But you did mention funding, and I actually have I'm just going to keep you on the spot, actually, because I have a question specifically because I understand all three of you are from the Kieślowski Film School. Is that correct? And I want to ask because at the beginning of all films, of course, we saw the logo of the Polish Film Institute, and my interest is, how does it work funding-wise? Like, is it just something you are guaranteed to have the funding from Polish Film Institute, being attending the Polish film school, or is it an extra process? Is it how competitive it is to actually get?
Oh, well, I know the answer. I don't know if I should be the one answering that one. Maybe Carolina and Alex can help me. But what I know is it's not normal, but our school is under the university. We are not the art school like other film schools happen to be. And for this reason, we have some weird financing system in the university, how to finance the films. And we need the help of Polish Film Institute to actually fund the movies. I guess maybe Alex and Carolina can add something to this.
But it's not like a competition, it's 9 of us are directing right now on 1 year, and it's not like 3 of us get money and the rest not. It's like we get the same amount of money for our films, and each year has different amount of money. If you get to the school, you're good to make films.
That is a very nice thing. I think all film institutions, film educational institutions should probably take notes. Just saying. But yeah, in that case, Alex, do you have anything to add to that, or?
I mean, as I talk to the other students on the festivals from the other schools all around the world, I think we are much more privileged in terms of funding our films, even though it's in the Polish money and counting it on euro. There's sometimes the budgets, when you count it on pounds or euros, it might seem crazy that we can shoot movies with that amount of money, but still we are privileged because we are guaranteed that we will get this money. We don't have to do any pitching. We just have to struggle with our supervisors on the terms of the scripts and storytelling and the stories we are talking about. But yes, I thought we are privileged.
Yeah, but also important thing is that we can get any more sponsors or co-producers. Just our school and Polish Film Institute, and that's why we only have what we have from school and also from our packets.
Yep.
We have a question here from, unfortunately, not on YouTube, but we have some of our classmates were wondering and didn't follow the instruction to put the question on YouTube, so instead they send it to us individually. And the question is it very competitive to get to the Kieślowski Film School? How did you find the application process?
Maybe let the director start. I mean, the female director start.
Well, Ina, you start.
Yeah, we are laughing because so it's a national school, so we don't pay for going there, for making films, for learning, and so on. So we have only only 8 people can get on the 1 year or for directing or cinematography, and of course it's not only 8 or 10 people who want to get there, so it is competitive, and it is hard because you don't know what's gonna be the X factor that's gonna get you to the school. So for me, it's about the luck. Of course, you have to represent something with your work, and so on. But I say be lucky, just be lucky. Maybe Marta will say something more.
Well, be yourself more than be lucky, but yeah, I mean, it is competitive, but it's not also like trying to get to acting school, which is really competitive. This one should be easier.
Yeah, it's not like thousands, it's hundreds more.
That's some really good advice from you there, Marta. Just be yourself. So we're going to come back to that very shortly because that's actually a really good point.
And I'm relieving you now from being on a spotlight because we have another general question. Yeah. So you are temporarily relieved.
We're going to give you a break for a second. So a question that I kind of wanted to throw out to everyone is, what do you feel are some of the challenges for, student filmmakers and new filmmakers, and how do you think you can overcome these challenges? I'm going to pick on Jennifer. I'm going to put Jennifer on the spot.
Was like, how do I say that? What should I say? I would say the biggest issue you have to overcome is you have to start doing stuff, and you have to just start, even if you know it's not good, just do it, and you will get better over time. And if you can just take this one step and do something, it will get better, and you will get in there, and then you can follow your dreams if that is your dream.
It feels like a TED talk. That was great. That was really inspirational. Thank you for that. Beth, I'm going to put you on the spot now. What have you found some of the challenges are for new filmmakers, for student filmmakers, and how do you think we can overcome them?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sort of my style of filmmaking, which is more abstract. That's something I'm kind of trying to work out at the moment, is how does that fit into the real world, kind of post art school. I graduated last summer, and I'm sort of looking at different ways that abstract imagery is used in music videos, kind of fashion shows, theatre, things like that. So there are definitely ways. But yeah, I think sometimes for experimental filmmakers, the path is not so clear, and a lot of the funding that's out there is not really suitable to an experimental project. It's kind of a different process. But I think, as the other filmmakers have said, you have to just keep doing stuff, keep making, and then things start to emerge from there.
Definitely, yeah. I think I think that's some really nice bit of advice. I'm going to spotlight one more person, and then I'll let you off the hook for a second. So I'm going to come to Aldous. Can you tell me about some of the challenges that you might have encountered or that you think are facing, filmmakers?
I mean, for me, the challenges mostly about funding. Like the schools, they don't give us any support. Like even the equipment, they can't even afford it. Like they can even rent it to us. So yeah, the challenge that there's actually something called gray guerrilla filmmaking. You know, when we made films like okay, it's just a simple film, but at least we make a film. You know, like it was cheap film, but yeah, we always trying to make a film like we don't care about funding, like something like that. But yeah, at least we always trying to keep moving and keep making films.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. You know, it's similar to what Jennifer said, that you just have to make things, you have to do what you can, you have to make things. So leads us sort of on nicely.
Before we go to the last question, though, to the people watching us on YouTube, we planned this program with your questions in mind. So if you can please start asking them, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. And now on to our next question.
Yeah, so we've already had some like really good pieces of advice from a few people. So that's sort of my next question. If you had one piece of advice to, you know, other student filmmakers or people wanting to be filmmakers, what bit of advice would you give them? I'm going to come to Mason first.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to you know, be different. You know, if you pitch around an idea and people are like, I'm not sure about that, but you're sure about it, just go for it. That's exactly what I've done. And yeah, again, it will pay off. It won't pay off. You never know. But again, you're getting experience out of it, and yeah, just definitely go for it.
Exactly. I mean, it's paid off. So yeah, exactly. A very nice bit of advice. Should we go to Tanya next? I'm going to spotlight you again.
Just try to get on film sets or on different projects as much as you can. Probably you have some friends who are doing something, you have some colleagues, and even if you're just on set making dinner or holding a cable, you will always learn something. And so maybe you're not making the same mistake, because they say you never make a mistake twice. So just try and go there.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. Absolutely. Marco, can we come to you next? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, one piece of advice is for me at least do what you want. You can listen everybody, but at the end the only person that you have to listen to is yourself. Quindi so do whatever you want, because we are young and we can do everything in this moment in our career. So that's it.
Absolutely, I love that. Francesco, can we come to you? Can we listen to your bit of advice?
I think we might have lost.
Have we lost him?
I don't see Francesco on the screen, unfortunately.
I think we might have lost Francesco. Anyone else?
In that case, Marta, I'm going to put you on a spot just because you're on the left side of the screen at the moment, and I'm going to put you on a spot. What is your advice for beginning filmmakers?
Well, just like I said, and actually it's something that everyone mentions in one way or another, it's important to like tell your own story, and like just not be afraid to do something that maybe sounds a little bit weird, but it's something you trust in, because otherwise we're telling stories that are being already told or are just very generic. And like I think it's important to tell something that's more or less personal, but or not personal itself, but just very genuine. So being yourself is important, I guess.
Absolutely. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone for joining us today. You know, it's been incredible hearing about your films and hearing some of your insights. We'd like to wish you good luck in all your future projects and with the films you have now. We've got some really incredible films in the festival this year, so they're available on our website until Friday. So make sure you jump on and watch each other's films. And we also have our award ceremony tomorrow. If you keep an eye on our socials, we'll show you the link for that one. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. It's been really nice to hear from you.
And I want to add this to our audiences watching us, and also to the filmmakers who are with us today. We do have the Audience Award as well, which will be announced. The winners of the Audience Award will be announced on our first ever live event this Friday in Liverpool. So if you're in Liverpool, please come and join us. And if you're planning on traveling to Liverpool, also please come and join us. And if you go to our website with the where you have the ability to watch the films, you will see there's this little green like thumbs up button under the film. If you click it, that registers as your vote for the Audience Award. And yeah, and so but basically, if you like the film, please cast your vote, because then we can give the Audience Award as well. And one last bit of sort of housekeeping is tomorrow, I believe at 4 p.m. as well. I hope one of my colleagues corrects me if I just said something stupid. Yeah. We will have another Q&A. This is from animation, and that will be the last Q&A session from our festival. And yeah, that's it again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Very best of luck to you in future careers, and I think we all agree that walls are absolutely the worst. Shouldn't happen.
Walls get in the way of cameras.
Walls get in the way of cameras, unfortunately.
Thanks
Bye,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.